Okay, here's the last section, part 6, just to go over the lecture questions and kind of what's next in this class. The learning objectives. So when walking, ideally, which part of the foot should hit first? Midfoot. Not so much the heel, but the midfoot. What can happen over time if this is not the case? Can cause pain, I would say low back, knee, low back pain. What is the role of the hip pelvis rotation when walking? So the pelvis and the hips should rotate slightly towards the forward leg, the opposite forward leg when you're walking. So as you walk, you have that forward leg, and the hips should rotate slightly towards that. So to make that simple, what is the role? The hips, pelvis should rotate slightly towards the forward opposite leg when walking. What are 2 ideas to address knee pain from excessive standing at work? You could do some inferior knee glides, the McKenzie inferior knee glides. You could also check out, are they hyperextending their knees? Are they locking the back of their knees? If they are, you could work on their tilt, adjust their tilt, the tilt of their pelvis, so they're more into neutral, so to avoid hyperextension of their knees. 3 biomechanics tips for proper snow shoveling. Wide base, bend at the hips, wide base, bend at the hips, and bend your knees. What does it mean to work from the power zone versus the danger zone? Give an example. Power zone is working close to your body, right around waist height. Danger zone is working beyond that, either too high or too low, or too far out. What does it mean to keep the wrist in neutral when working? Give an example. If the wrist is not working in neutral, why may it lead to pain? What does it mean to keep the wrist in neutral when working? Think of yourself right now. You're on the laptop. You want to keep your wrists straight versus excessively flexed, extended, or deviated. If the wrist is not working in neutral, why may it lead to pain? Again, the course theme leads to pain because of space and flow issues. In case of, say, carpal tunnel, it really tightens up the space within the carpal tunnel, crunches it up, everything, pushes on the median nerve and all those tendons, leads to numbness and pain. What are 2 biomechanics positioning tips for childcare workers? When you're sitting on the floor, sit with support on your back. Sit against the wall, use pillows or something, but don't sit unsupported on the floor. There's one. Second one is always keep your thumbs adducted, A-D-D, adducted, close to your hand when lifting and positioning the child. Okay, the case we're actually going to do in lab, so we're not going to do that here. And then what's coming up? Get your part 2, I think it is, for 916. Checking that out on the syllabus on your little module graphic thing. And then in lab 917, coming right up, is the week 3 quiz, which is on the week 3 questions and the exercises reading. So the questions we just went over primarily is what the quiz is on, as well as the exercises and the reading. Coming up the following Sunday, I think it's due, is the case study. Don't do this until, you could start it, but don't complete it or submit it until after the lab on 917, because you'll just have to redo it. I'll show you the format and how to put it together and all that, so you'll have a better idea on how to do that. We'll go over that in the lab as well.